Welcome back to Lamont, Illinois, home of the 2026 USA Club Rugby National Championships. It's the Northern Super Regionals. The action here turns to women's D2. I'm Tim Wilkes, joined by Angela Smarto, and coming up next, we've got the St. Louis Sabres taking on South Buffalo. South Buffalo, a great year last year. It should be an excellent matchup between these two. On the one side here for the St. Louis Sabres, they are your Mid-America champs, the 2018 national champs, and boy, have they been rolling 75-0 their last match in the Mid-America champions, and a 69-0 score over the KC Jazz. Before that, they're led by Mandy Smith, had 6 tries in her last match. Also, keep an eye out for Natalie Morton, number 6, and Jessie Wilcox, number 11. On the other side, for South Buffalo, they had a friendly to take down the Pittsburgh Forge, as most of their play was last year. They lost to, the Milwaukee Silica 58-39, but they licked their wounds again, came away with that victory over the Forge, and a good, strong matchup coming your way next night. Someone to keep an eye on there for South Buffalo. Anna Pitliangas, number 9, has majority of the tries. She runs the show from that fly half spot. Also keep an eye out for Zoe Siciliano. She leads the team, most tries in their previous matches. The 26-year-old there playing the number 12 position. Again, I'm joined up in the booth by Angela Smarto, former coach for Robert Morris for over 9 years. And Angela, we should have an excellent match between these two tough squads on our hands.
Yeah, this is definitely going to be a fun one. So in my time of coaching, not only did I get to coach Robert Morris, which played against some of these South Buffalo teams, I also was a coach for the Allegheny Rugby Union women's select side, the Bears, and there's a handful of players from South Buffalo who I have coached personally over the last 10 years. And with all of those experiences, these players, I know South Buffalo is very invested in their development. A lot of them go and play in Canada in the summertime. And you'll see that Zoe Siciliano, their top try scorer, she's a product of Toronto. So that influence is what drives them in their high skill level. So we're going to see, they're going to take that and take it to St. Louis, who has been dominant so far. This will likely be a really scrappy match since these two teams don't usually play each other.
Again, winner of this match will take on the other semifinal already underway. And again, that's the Scylla taking on the Salt Lake Slugs. Scylla were on top last we looked. Little spin off to the right-hand side, and it is South Buffalo, last year's Northern Super Regional champions, here on the women's D2 side with the first action, but they coughed this one up, as it is the aforementioned Pitliangas, number 9 there, could not hang on to it. Is again South Buffalo in the green jerseys taking on the St. Louis Sabres in the blue and white.
Yeah, so you're going to see this first little pop-off. Great go forward from Jordan Wild, the hooker, but unfortunately it doesn't connect, so we're going to have our first scrum of the match.
Out the back they come through Daniela Lopez, but another knock-on as both teams giving up a little bit of miscommunication there, a couple of early jitters possibly, as again, everything on the line here in the national championship semifinal.
Yeah, last year for South Buffalo as the Super Regional champions, that was their first time as a club ever going to nationals out of this event, and that was a huge experience for them. So they want to go back and they want to prove what they can do, but they have to get through this weekend first.
Pitliangas, the Buffalo, New York native, whips that one out of there and spins it off to the left. Now they're back again. This one a little bit behind. Backwards, says the referee. And it's the Sabres that put a little bit of pressure on. Almost forced it, but they had a little too much of aggressive nature in there. Hands in the ruck. Got to make sure you don't touch that ball once the ruck is formed.
Yeah, so early breakdown penalty for the Sabres. Referee has been very communicative so far, and right now South Buffalo is looking to run it out, but having some trouble getting go forward here immediately.
Yeah, just a little bit of trouble keeping the ball connected. Passes a little bit awry here to start off, and then finally there's the connection, but it gets coughed up, knocked up forward. St. Louis Sabres now on the front foot. Into contact they come, a great run through the teeth of the defense for Julia Mudd Hunter.
Advantage is over, Blue.
Takes it right at the 22-meter line. Now off to the right-hand side, Goodell
Advantage off the ball.
finds another winger out. A little bit of space there. It's actually Laura Matthews into contact.
Tackle away from the ball, Green.
Big Lock getting involved, and we'll come back to the penalty. An opportunity now for the Sabres to possibly cash in early.
Yeah, we have a quick penalty here from South Buffalo. Nice boot from number 12, Caroline Bassler, into touch. We'll be setting up our first line out of the match. Great field position for the Sabres to see if they can put some points up early.
Again, this is a team, the St. Louis Sabres, your 2018 national champions. So they've got the pedigree, plenty of players that are still left from that squad. Boy, have they been dominant throughout the year. Again, 75-0, 69-0 their last two matches, and now they're driving with the driving maul. Space on the right-hand side, little pop pass, finds its target there to Morton, gets over the line and in. Beautiful work. That was Bassler with the dish, finds Natalie Morton. Had 2 tries in the last match, gets another one down for the 23-year-old, and the first score for the Sabres.
That's a great forward try coming out of that lineout. As you can see, so we're going to take the ball cleanly, and after this maul starts to roll out, you'll see that this is planned. That they're staying on that weak side. As South Buffalo gets sucked in trying to drive the maul, you still have some power runners out on the edge, and the flanker, Natalie Morton, is able to kick it through all the way to the corner with support of her wing, Alyssa Goodell.
Excuse me, that was actually Julia Mudd Hunter getting involved in the action. She was the one that got her nose dirty inside the back of that maul, broke it out of there, and knew what to do with it. A quick dish off to the right-hand side sends them over the try line for the first 5 points of the match. Kick not an easy one from all the way in the corner. Strong take, and it is up and over. What a kick from Carolyn Bassler. Gives another 2 up on the board for the Sabres.
Yeah, that's a statement kick to start off this game. If you are putting things through from that width, that means you're not afraid to take those chances and score on the edge. For those of you, if you're tuning in and maybe this is one of the first rugby games you've ever seen, these are your friends or your colleagues, the extra point kick is taken from the parallel that the score is tried, not like football that always gets moved to the middle.
Proven they can get it done anywhere on the pitch there. Great kick again from Bassler. Now it's the Sabres with it again, just outside the 22-meter line, and a strong charging run. Group of forwards in the center of the pitch, laying the blow there, and they burn themselves a penalty as well, as South Buffalo a little too aggressive, not rolling out of the scrum quick enough.
Number 8, Green, rolling.
Yes, we're able to draw another penalty, and we're going to go to foot to go to touch again. The lineout was very effective for them before, but it's not going to make it to touch, so we will now have some back 3 movement here from South Buffalo.
I think that was Bobek that was able to take it all the way up to the midfield stripe. And now South Buffalo charges over that line and continues to work. Scramble for it there. It's ripped out of there just in time. Great work on the defensive end for the Sabres. Not a whole lot of offensive possession, early cough-ups, and now the Sabres look to make them pay again, already with 7 up on the board. That was the previous try score. Natalie Morton out of Mamaroneck, New York, continues her strong work in the first 7 minutes of action.
No hands, Green. No hands, Green. Let it. Good, listen.
There's Hunter. Into contact. Good work. Good snag that time to secure possession. Into Sleck. Sletch takes it, continuing to work. Lots of phases here for the Sabres. And another strong run here on the near side by Laura Matthews. Second time we've called her name out on the wing for the Big Lock. More strong play as they continue. Kept this one in tight, and now they'll look to spin it. Another group of forwards there in the center of the pitch. They swing things over to the left, trying to find an overload.
Next one.
But strong defense from the ladies in green, fully stifle the attack,
First one.
force the knock
Knock here,
on,
blue.
and so they'll have the
Knock there, green.
turnover ball put in
Back to the first
back
knock
to
by
South
blue.
Buffalo.
Yeah, it seems that St. Louis has really come out of the gate going at 100%, and that was able to help them with their early try. South Buffalo is starting to settle a little bit into their defense. You can see, especially from this forward pack, lots of physicality, lots of upfront pressure in these tackles right in the first phase of play.
See if they can find some positive momentum here as this one's pulled out the back through Pitliangas. And a strong charge sends them over the gain line with the first carry.
Green.
They'll come right back to the left-hand side again. Big time collision. Strong work there for the Sabres, and they jar that one loose, but original tackle, the first one, a little bit high, so we'll come back, penalty for South Buffalo.
Yeah, they had an unlucky kick out of that ruck, so lucky to get the penalty because they were about to lose this possession. So a high tackle is anything above the chest. It doesn't matter how tall or short you are. All contact must be below your chest line.
Strong work there off the first phase. Now a great little movement here on the near side of the pitch. You see how hard the ladies in green working to secure possession, but a strong counter ruck at the very end disrupts things. That's Laura Matthews again out of Chicago, Illinois. They end up knocking it forward, jarred it loose, and it's going to be a scrum down back to the Sabres.
That's a really heads-up play from St. Louis because that counter ruck came in really late. It looked like it was clearly won, but by putting in that extra shove, it forces this mishandle and this bobble. So great work from the lock, Laura Matthews.
Set.
10 years with the club, played every bit of her rugby there in a Sabres jersey. They'll skip this one through. Good pass from Shoemaker, finds her target. Center of the pitch, slung to deck as they continue to push forward. Try to find something out on the left-hand side, but a good flat defense charges up and meets them right there. A lot of speed on the edges. Shoemaker trying to find the target she needs. A forward-heavy team here for the Sabres as they continue to push. Another carry here from Mudd. Hunter, a great performance so far. Now back to here to the near side. Here comes Matthews again, gets it off on the angle through the 22-meter line, and one player to beat. They're not going to catch her. Raina Davis takes it the distance and slams it home for try number 2 for St. Louis.
Yeah, that is a great try. So we're going to come back all the way to this original setup. We have great support and finally getting some speed on the edge, able to beat that last South Buffalo defender and able to touch it down a little bit closer to make that kick a little bit easier. But that was a great athletic move, nice vision, able to break that open and free.
Raina Davis, just 22 years old, out of Belleville, Illinois. Insurance agent during the day, out here on the pitch on the weekends. She is a disruptive force, has been a good addition to this squad. Again, only 3 years playing rugby, 2 here with the club, and she has made her statement right here. Also a Midwest All-Star, Mid-American All-Star as well. We'll see, we saw that first fantastic kick. This one just outside, misses the post, and so it's a 12-0 lead right now for St. Louis. Angela, if you're South Buffalo, got a lot of good players. You've got your perennial powerhouse. You won here last year. What do they need to do to kind of get those engines cranking and not let this one slip away?
Yeah, they definitely need to get the ball back, and they need to take care of their possession. They've had a few fumbles. They're having some penalties, some handling errors, and that's able to keep just feeding right back into the Sabres, who've been taking care of the ball really well. So hopefully they can disrupt and create some sort of turnover opportunity and be able to put some attack together.
Off the kick, unfortunate, a knock on, so a scrum for South Buffalo, and their first attacking set piece here inside of the Sabres territory, so should be an interesting play here on the scrum as we take another look of the turnover.
Yeah, that's a great tackle to, once you can feel that ball starting to pop out, using your body, using your shoulder, your arm, try to rip that ball out, either to strip it or just to knock it down. Again, creating opportunities to get the ball back to your team.
Nice little show and go from Halliday. Takes it over the 22-meter line, and South Buffalo is in position now. Little flip there to Wild. Wild carries a couple of defenders with her. 10 meters away now for South Buffalo. This is the response they need, and a penalty is going to be given, not rolling away the call. There's the quick tap coming in. Nice little pass to keep things moving from Pitliungus. Hits her target. Siciliano carries 2, 3 players over the line, gets on top of it, and held up, says the referee. Great work from the Sabres to deny the try.
Yeah, that was a great string of attack from South Buffalo, who just hasn't really had the ball much so far, but they've shown here they have a game plan, and if they execute it, they can get some go forward. Unfortunate with the held up try, that always hurts a little bit, but looks like they're going to have an opportunity right back with ball in hand in a great spot.
Shoemaker with the kick, didn't find a lot of distance, and we're still inside the danger zone. South Buffalo takes a stab at it. Now they're going to try to go through the hands, able to find a free player, and another one off the offload. They're in and through. South Buffalo on the board, 12-5.
We got a big try. That is number 7, Alicia Giles, who's played all of her rugby in her career with South Buffalo since she's been in high school. So this means a lot for her to represent her club, and she's going to big power forward come all the way through. So great little dish out. One more great taken from the number 8, and Alicia able to hold off that last defender and go in right under the post, setting up South Buffalo with their first try and then first conversion attempt.
Giles, the corrections officer, lays down the law there. Great bit of movement, as you said, between the 7 and the 8. It was Fariana that was able to dish that one off at the last second. And 15 minutes into this match, South Buffalo get the response that they were looking for. It's going to be for Rains, I believe, taking the kick here. From just about straight away, nails this one through. And it's South Buffalo cutting into the lead a little bit more. Just a 5-point match. And Angela, that's exactly what we were talking about. They got the possession they needed. And boy, they really were able to make their presence felt out there once they got close.
Yeah, it's really important to not get rattled when you get scored on early. So South Buffalo showing that maturity. They've been at this stage before. They didn't freak out. They know they're going to get scored on. They're not anticipating a shutout. So as soon as they got their opportunity, they're playing cleanly, they stuck to their plan, and they were able to get a nice try right under the post, get that extra 2, and staying within 1 point or 1 try score is really important.
Anybody's match here as this one bounces a couple of times before landing in the arms of South Buffalo. That was Wild that was able to finally take that one. And a quick tap here coming as Pitliungus gets things moving. South Buffalo on the charge over the midfield stripe as they look to threaten yet again. Trying to find some space on the outside, but Kelly Halliday is just going to kick this one through over the top of the defense. It's Davis, the try scorer, has to retreat and try to get this one, but a big collision sends her back, and it's a little bit high. And an opportunity here to relieve some pressure as a great kick through there from South Buffalo just didn't come to hand.
Yeah, I think we got a little excited coming in for that kick receipt. You've got a one-on-one situation effectively with the kick receipt as well as your chase player. So this could turn into a huge opportunity. And as the Sabres come back, unfortunately, just the body position at all, her coming over the top like that is going to be a high tackle. It's dangerous. So it's going to be able to let the Sabres win ball.
Eventually, they're able to get this one through and out into touch. but they're not out of the woods yet. South Buffalo will have the line out, just down by 5, almost midway through this first half, in a tight contest here for the D2 semifinals.
Yeah, for the first 10 minutes, it looks like St. Louis was about to blow this whole thing wide open. But South Buffalo has really taken some control back and really showing off that they're a team that is a force to be reckoned with.
Brianna Hicks, the 25-year-old, takes this one short off the line out. South Buffalo gets the engines cranking again. Use of the forward pack there. An offsides player just runs through one of the South Buffalo players. Did not retreat, but the kick just left the hands, hit the deck. Unfortunate knock-on for South Buffalo.
Thank you.
I texted Anna yesterday and told her that I was doing the commentary of this game. I'm not going to pick on her, even though I know she knows a little better. That is a mistake. She rolls her eyes. She knows that was unfortunate. She had the quick tap opportunity, just lost it a little bit. So the ball is going to go back to St. Louis.
Pitnyangus, a true force to be reckoned with in that scrum half position. She's the captain out there for him. See if she's able to lick her wounds and come back stronger here. Nice work to get a little bit of the edge, but that door gets slammed shut on the outside. Strong work from South Buffalo. It's a good tackle there from Prasad. But again, the Sabres continue to push forwards. This is what we saw in those first 10 minutes. Just phase after phase of smash mouth rugby, and they continue here with Archibald. Savannah takes him forward. There's the advantage being played. I think it was just a knock, no, full arm penalty as Buffalo compounds things, and they'll get sent back 10.
Yeah, we've got number 3, Savannah Archibald, getting up slowly, but she's up off this penalty. And St. Louis looks to slow the ball down, give her a second to recover, but have more contact penalties happening, kind of on both sides of the ball, pulling each other down and such, but we're looking to use this forward pack and run into to restart play.
Talking about running into Caitlin Liberson, 36-year-old, smashes into the defense there to break the gain line. 20 minutes into this match, another big tackle, this time from South Buffalo, laying the wood. And we will come back, though, previous high tackle. So just too many mistakes for South Buffalo, and the Sabres are back on the charge. Quick tap coming. Into contact goes Morton, the try scorer. And another penalty here. They're getting aggressive inside, but I think that was Belic that time, just kept pushing, got to release and get out of there at some point.
Mix of penalties. We had 3 high tackles in a row. First one I didn't need to penalize, we played away from it. But now we have the same thing we had them on, where your tackler needs to clear the space before your jackler can play the ball, okay? Take a second, but discipline has to improve.
Okay, so
after
we could hear a little bit the referee, the only person in rugby that's allowed to talk to the referee is the captain, and vice versa. So he's telling Anna, like, you had 3 high tackle penalties in a row, and now this.
Tackler.
He's going to start looking for yellow cards if they continue to tackle dangerously, and giving St. Louis a man advantage could really be a real hit to South Buffalo. So they need to get their tackles under control, lower, and safer.
Bassler puts this one out into touch, and this is very near where they scored their previous try off of the driving maul. The first one, keep an eye on Julia Hunter, number 2. The hooker after this throw be sweeping around and looking to push forward that driving maul. They're going to go through the middle this time. Through the hands it goes, but it's finally secured by Liberson. Take this one 5 meters away from pay dirt. Off to the left they come. Green jerseys on the deck. Good job getting out of there fast. Still a surge from the Sabres. They'll continue to keep it in tight. Big time counter ruck slows it down a bit and gives them the opportunity to wrap up Morton behind the gain line. Now they'll reset. Nice little inside ball from Lopez. Finds Mandy Smith for the try.
And here we go. St. Louis able to capitalize on effectively 30 free meters from South Buffalo. All those penalties in a row helped them move the ball forward. And now, so close to the try line, they're executing their game plan. They're using their forwards. So one little pop off here, right off the edge. That's a great little cross move that just stalls the defense enough to open up that little half gap. And Mandy Smith able to dot it down to extend the Sabres lead.
Smith out of Truman State University, but really it was a beautiful pass, all directed there from Danielle Lopez, the 37-year-old, 13 years with the club and playing that scrum half position, just wise beyond her years, knew that she sprints out to the left. It's gonna bring that post player up after her, leaving the gap, and this one bang through off the post. Little doink action there for Bassler as she drives that one through and brings the Sabres up to a 12-point lead.
Yeah, it's only 1 o'clock in Chicago. The bank's still open, so any way that we can get an extra 2 points is good. That is extending now because they've made their kicks. St. Louis, their 2-score lead, which is crucial for South Buffalo to not let that get to a 3 or a 4, because that deficit becomes really hard to overcome. So heading into this kind of second quarter here of the half, South Buffalo needs to take it easy on the penalties, take care of the ball, and try to put some points on the board.
Bassler with the kick over the top of the defense. That boot has been perfection throughout this match. Saw her bank one in, now smashing it through, comes all the way down and wrangles the would-be attacker, sends her to deck, and great work. Excellent stuff there from Carolyn Bassler. And now it's South Buffalo. They need a response here. Just about 16 minutes left to play in the first half. Got to keep things in tight. Strong work again, almost on the counter ruck. That's Bassler again getting into the action. Space here on the near side, though, for South Buffalo. Around the corner they come. Great little burst through, but a strong tackle on the back end from Raina Davis slows it down. Davis, though, a little bit high with it, and so they'll get sent back 10. Great run that time from Siciliano.
That was a great skip pass. Great recognition by South Buffalo. Being able to move that ball wider, faster, got them a lot to go forward. This penalty, another 10 meters. And this ball is not going to find touch. So South Buffalo back on defense.
No hands, Green. Out, Green. Come out, Green.
Davis able to pluck that one out of the air before it goes out. A miscalculation for South Buffalo. Now they look to make him pay. Like to use those forwards out in the back line. First time pays off, second one as well. Over the gain line they go. Now the little bit of space on the outside through the hands of Shoemaker. Finds her target out there. Big time collision, but they still are able to push forward. Great work on the outside. That's Ann Goodell. Still recycled out there to Shoemaker. Excuse me, a little pop pass. Takes it in. 15 minutes left to play here in the first half. Tim Wilkes and Angela Smarto taking you through all the action of this semifinal in the Northern Super Regional. South Buffalo ripped it out of there. They're back on the offensive side now. Knocked forward by Blue, so advantage being played. A great surge forward sends South Buffalo into enemy territory, but a big collision jars that one loose. I think that was Liberson that's able to rattle it out of there and cause the turnover. Will come back as advantage was being played. But boy, these Sabres, Angela, continue to hit hard.
Yeah, this is a really physical match. You can see both teams really getting at each other in the trenches here. You'll see as South Buffalo is entering just huge contact point there with St. Louis, and every scrum is just another way to show your muscle off and have some more physicality here. So South Buffalo needs to dominate here so they can set up something for their back line.
Nicely done. Pitliangas takes him out and through the hands, but a little bit of an awry pass on the outside will send it out into touch. And a turnover again for the Sabres. And I think if we had the counter going, definitely the Sabres more time of possession. That really has been the key. Once South Buffalo have been able to retain it and get through hands a couple of times, they've been great, but just a little off the mark there. And that's kind of been the story for their first half, Angela.
Yeah, the winger for South Buffalo, Eleanor Harrell, she was calling for the ball. That was the right call, but the misconnection on the pass, unfortunately, is going to go into touch and then turn it over. And now St. Louis is back on the front foot, hoping to extend their lead as they're here in the attacking zone.
Great pick by Savannah Archibald. Goes weak with it. Not able to find a whole lot, but they recharge and get those engines cranking again now through Casey Donahue. Kalispell, Montana native. Takes it forward, and they continue the surge. Here comes Mandy Smith. Smith, one of the team's leading try scorers. See her name each and every week with multiple tries, but this time did not release in time, and a turnover back to South Buffalo.
Great defensive pressure by South Buffalo, trying to get that steal. If you're new, as soon as you hit, you are not allowed to play rugby on the ground. So see, she hits the ground here, and the South Buffalo defender is trying to reach for the ball, which she is allowed to do. Mandy Smith, you're not allowed to hang on to the ball, so that's what the penalty is for. So great work defensively to get this turnover back into the hands of the Herd from South Buffalo.
Yeah, definitely being extremely impressed by the tenacity of South Buffalo in these rucks. They continue to try their best to secure possession and have done so pretty well so far. 12 minutes left to play. Another strong run coming through. Samantha Bilich takes it in as they continue to look to charge, trying to find some space on the outside, but the door gets slammed shut. Marissa Munoz Ruiz gets into the action on the defensive end. Numbers here on the near side if they can jar this one free, but Wild just has to take it to deck. The pick and go, though, continues to find some space here on the weak side. Pull this one through. Ava Bobek gets the charge going again, just in time to secure possession. Now they're really going here over the midfield stripe again. 12 minutes now left in this one. Coming in a little bit from the side or just not releasing there. Take your pick, as it'll be a quick tap as they get them on the back foot. And now really starting to get things clicking is South Buffalo. They need a response down by 12. There's another pick from Brianna Hicks.
It's okay. Stay there, Blue. Good job.
Laying down the punishment there on the outside, and now the quick spin finds their target out there, Bobek. But she can't break through the 22-meter line, and they'll have to reload again. Try to find some space weak. They've got some numbers out there, and a big-time shove comes in from Siciliano, and it opens things up. 5 meters out now. She has been a great spark plug, Zoe Siciliano, first year with the club out of Ontario, Canada. But eventually they just knock it on. That's been the name of the game. They've gotten so close. They've made their path, but just haven't been able to finish it off other than that first one.
Yeah, that was a great take-in. Number 12, who we've been mentioning, Zoe Siciliano for South Buffalo, dragging defenders down with her, being difficult, meters after contact, doing exactly what an inside center should be doing. Got a lot of go forward, but unfortunately got Messi down after that tackle. And St. Louis able to get the ball back, but they are deep in their territory, so one mistake could be big for South Buffalo.
Straight down.
This one fully falls apart there. Everybody on the deck, and so we'll reset this one again through Phil Winkler. But just need to get another shout out there to Zoe Siciliano. Keep an eye on her as we move through this. She also played in the Rugby League World Cup back in 2022 for the Canada Ravens. So she's got plenty of experience out here on the pitch. Because again, both these teams just trying to shake things off a little bit. The tenacity here on the national championship level is starting to show its force. We're under 10 minutes left here in the first half, Angela. Both these teams definitely given everything they've got. It's been a very tenacious affair so far.
Yeah, these forwards on both sides of the ball, very involved in attack and defense, and then they get all this extra play, while the backs are looking on. So a collapsed scrum never feels good. You can kind of see both sides are shaking it off. That's just one more contact and impact for your body. So You want to eliminate extra scrums if you can, because you want to save your energy for the tough game you have ahead.
Blue throw.
Lopez whips that one out the back of the scrum. Tipped, says the referee. So Carolyn Bassler's kick gets out, finds touch, and they're able to keep possession out of it. So here for the Sabres, trying to get a little bit of pressure relief here. We'll have to look to the line out. Another strong take there from Laura Matthews. Called her name as much as we did in the very beginning, but she continues to be a force to be reckoned with. But here's a great burst through. They're over the 22-meter line. Sabres still ball in hand. They've got some support there. They'll just use that. Eat this one into the deck. That was Ellie Seitch with her first carry, really getting things moving for the Sabres. St. Louis now off the left-hand side. There's the try scorer, Natalie Morton. Keeping things moving. This is where they've been at their best, just time and time again, smashing through. Always multiple pods there, multiple bodies to be able to clean things up each and every time. And now a little bit of fancy stuff here on the outside, not able to get it fully through. They'll reload again. 8 minutes left to play. Another strong run up the gut through this forward pack. Bit of a slow ball there. They'll recharge the engines and get it going again through Julia Hunter. Mudd continues the charge, and now through Shoemaker all the way to the outside. Beautiful little pass, finds Jessie Wilcox out there. She gets wrangled to deck and will continue to push forward. Strong hold there through the hands of Bassler. Into contact they come. Another line breaker for the Sabres. Off to the right, Mandy Smith with the offload to keep things moving. Hits her target there through Ellie Seitch. Bassler again. Great continuity here for the Sabres. They're not coughing it up easily, giving anything cheap here. Into contact goes Matthews. Spinning out of there. Misdirection coming from Lopez as they try the weak side again. There's the return pass. Finds Carolyn Bassler 5 meters out. South Buffalo have to retreat and get back on the defensive end. The slow ball a little bit there helps them out with it, and it's knocked on forwards. South Buffalo back in possession here in the shade of their goal line. What is the response here off the back? Nice little box kick up over the defense and nobody home. Fullback came to the near side, and now they have to retreat to get this one all the way back from their own territory. Strong stiff arm coming in. Jessie Wilcox cleaned that one up and secured possession back for the Sabres. Pick and go though. Right back on the front foot. It's Raina Davis.
Connor's good.
Slow it up a little bit here. Forwards back in the action. Casey Donahue. Her 3rd year with the club. Space on the outside. Morton's just going to have to pick this one up. Great defense. To get called for the penalty there, recycled back, and a penalty is going to be given though in from the side a little bit for South Buffalo.
What a long phase of play we just had. This is, we're talking about you clean up those penalties and you can get a lot of gameplay. How about South Buffalo with the huge break of luck for St. Louis, who knocked it on the 1 meter line? And then an incredible box kick and chase out of South Buffalo all the way back to the 50. Now we've had this turnover here. We're going to go back into the attacking zone here. We're going to set up a lineup for St. Louis. That's being excellently marked by this assistant referee, Dan Houlihan, with his Rugby for All touch flags. You can order those online through Bougie, by the way, if you're interested in a Keep Rugby Inclusive touch flag. But huge hits coming out of South Buffalo on the kick retreat. I'm really impressed by that defensive wall they built. Just had some unlucky stuff to get St. Louis this ball back.
Smashing into that wall now is Laura Matthews. She has been tremendous in this one from her lock position. And they continue to pick and go. Into the teeth again. I think that's Mandy Smith getting involved in the action. South Buffalo hold firm again and eventually earn themselves the scrum as it was brought into the maul, and at that point the offense has to be able to present it. It got covered up. South Buffalo did a great job to secure possession out there.
In case anyone was wondering if Buffalo's actually the Midwest, you know that they are because they got called a scrum and all of their forwards clapped. They were like, here we go. We're just going to run it again. They like this contact. It's been successful for them. They need to set up this platform. If they can get some of this kick and chase down that they've seen, that could become potentially a huge offensive weapon for them if they can get all of their ducks in a row.
This time they'll look to go for touch off the side. Able to relieve a little bit of pressure, but still pinned in deep. It'll be the Sabres with under 4 minutes left to go. It'll be their line out there on the far side.
Yeah, South Buffalo just trying to march out of their own zone. They do not want to give up any more points here with less than 5 minutes left in the first half. But St. Louis is thinking the exact opposite thing, saying, let's extend this to a 3-score lead here before we go into halftime.
It's Ellie Seitz that was able to go up and get that one out the back. It comes free, and here come the Sabres. Strong tackle from Bassler as she fights off the would-be tackler and keeps things in hand until it's ripped out of there. Great work on the back there. That was Brianna Hicks, that was Giles that was able to get her hands on it and earn her team the penalty. Really been impressed, Angela, so far here these last few minutes. A couple of defensive stands. Now let's see if South Buffalo can turn defense into offense. Got 80 meters left to go. They've shown to be pretty potent, especially with that boot to flip the pitch. This time they'll keep it inside to Hicks. Nice little offload there from the forwards and space on the outside, but they'll continue to keep it in a little bit tight.
Out 9.
Bilich into contact. A little over 2 minutes left to go. South Buffalo having to scramble for this one, finally able to rip it out of there. Strong work there. The Sabres come up and meet Hicks behind the gain line. Look at that defensive pressure time and time again, just blitzing out, trying to cause havoc here for South Buffalo, and boy, have they done it. South Buffalo still scrambling. Jordan Wild with it, takes it into contact, and the green jerseys just in time there to clean it up. They'll spin it, trying to find some space there on the weak side. That far side door gets slammed shut. Variana couldn't make any meters out of it, and believe we're going to come back. And back 10 again go the Sabres. Penalty was on, so with a minute and a half, still an opportunity for South Buffalo to cut into this lead.
Yeah, what a defensive wall that the Sabres are showing off here right now. That was at least 10, 12 phases in a row, and South Buffalo tried all kinds of things. They tried a forward punch and a pod and a kick, or a pick and go, out to their centers. Every ball carrier they had was stopped immediately in their tracks. St. Louis is coming up with the defensive pressure, but South Buffalo on their attack is catching it a little flat-footed, and that's having them, or giving them kind of a rough go on how to break this game line.
Continually here, it is great pressure coming through. That's Julia Hunter again with the tackle behind the game line, and the Sabres are able to rip it out of there, back in possession. Danielle Lopez charges forward to keep it moving, and another penalty here. Quick tap coming from Bassler. Bassler swims back and forth, and then right into a green jersey to keep things moving for the Sabres. Bit of a slow ball out of there. Able to get it, but a strong take. South Buffalo rip it out of there. They've earned themselves the penalty. Just a little bit of time left. A quick tap here for South Buffalo. Into contact goes Bilich. Tries to whip a pass out of there just before. Able to secure possession, but they've just been pinned inside their own half for a good 5 to 10 minutes now. Just kind of missing, Angela, a little bit of a game breaker. They've done a great job retaining possession. The forwards have played wonderfully. They just haven't been able to find that sharp game breaker on the outsides.
Yeah, they're working really hard, but they're going east to west and not north and south. They really need to turn their hips and start moving this ball forward so they can get some more go forward from all the work and steps that they're putting in.
And 9 was high.
This time they try to kick this one up over the top, but the penalty was on as the Sabres infringe there, not rolling away the call. You've got to get out of that tackle area as quick as possible as we take another look, Angela. Yeah, fighting through.
Yeah, unfortunately, defender just kind of, as soon as you are done with your tackle, you need to release. You need to at least make an attempt to get up and rejoin your defensive line. So
Zoe Siciliano, she's the game breaker they've been looking for. She takes him up near the 22-meter line, and it's back on here for South Buffalo. That is exactly what they needed, and now they've got numbers there on the outside. A little cut it back. Advantage is on, though. I think the Sabres were a little bit offsides there, a little too aggressive. Another opportunity for South Buffalo as they punch their way through the defense this time. Just trying to find a gap, not a lot happening. There's the numbers again on the outside, a little bit of a crease there found, and they're over. Try number 2 coming for South Buffalo as they get in. What a fight. They finally get their 80 meters in the last 2 minutes of action and bring it home a little closer now, 19-12 the score.
that is exactly what South Buffalo needed. Great physical play here. Really, this came from the last phase of play from Zoe Siciliano, who got them to this point, that big game break. But you'll see her now. She just got that offload to her teammate. I believe that's number 13, Persad, who's going to be able to get this try. But this is huge points for South Buffalo. We've gone about 20 minutes and nobody has scored, but you know, between like the 5 minutes before the break and the 5 minutes after are crucial for momentum points. So them being able to put some points and make this a 1-score game again is huge for South Buffalo.
And that was Sierra Persad, just 21 years old, her first year with South Buffalo. She has a lot of experience. She's with the National Guyana Sevens team. So a lot of experience there, and boy, what a great end to the second half for South Buffalo as they get that one through and cut this lead back down to 5. Angela, what a great response for South Buffalo there to end the half.
Yeah, we're going to be in for a dogfight for the whole second half here. Both of these teams have a lot of experience. They're not getting rattled by each other, and they both really want to move on and play tomorrow.
Great work there in South Buffalo, down by 5, but a fantastic start to the first half. 40 minutes gone by. We've still got another 40 left in the tank. We thank you for joining us. We'll come back with the second half of action here from the Northern Super Regionals when we return.
It's great. We all love each other. We all like hanging out at these tournaments. I mean,
just meeting so many new people and getting to know them is just amazing. And meeting so many new friends, it's definitely.
Nah, one word is family. Like, you got people like you could depend on.
Probably my favorite part of playing rugby is like I can forget any problem I'm having at school or at home or just any kind of worry or burden and just like give it my all on the field.
And we all choose to come here. We don't have to be here, you know. It's just good fun coming out on a Sunday, playing, getting all together, and just great.
All right, so yeah, I think it's the fact that we can play very hard, smack each other up, boom each other, and just eat good and talk to and laugh with each other after.
So, one thing that rugby has done for you?
It's brought up a lot of my confidence. I wasn't very confident in middle school, and I knew that if I wanted to become a better player, I would have to bring up my game, which I did, and I've just become so much like a better person to myself. I see myself in such a bigger light, and I'm honestly so much happier playing rugby.
I ain't gonna lie, if it wasn't for them, I don't think I would like be around here, to be honest. So I guess family.
New York Rugby Club is a great community because they put you around great people such as Alex, my coach Alex, and he teaches me more about rugby, how I can make my game better every day and elevate it to the next.
Nah, but like, you feel me? But like, I bet, like, you know how the hood is, so you know, like, it's crazy, like, around shooters and all that stuff. So it's just keeping me out from there, and then changing from like me gotta worry about, oh, I can't walk here, instead of just changing my life and being positive and don't need to worry about anything that much.
I think people really underestimate women in sports. Like in my school, rugby, especially the girls' rugby, is really strong, and I don't think a lot of people expect that that women can have the sort of strength or like sort of drive that men can have in sports. And I mean, you can see today, like, it's pretty much even. Women want to, you know, have an outlet for physical contact or something to blow off steam just as much as men do. And they're just as physical, and we're just as, I guess, you can say aggressive as men can be, and we can be just as successful on the rugby field. So I think it just helped me learn that whatever a man can do, I can do it. It's no worries. I can do exactly what they can do.
Growing up in Mississippi, my prayer was, for as long as I can remember, God, use me. Use me, use this life. I don't know what the future holds for me, but I know that there is a vision for my life that is greater than my imagination can hold. Use me, use me. What would you have me to do? And that dream, that desire, that prayer brought me somehow to television.
And she's gonna learn that this life will hit you hard in the face, wait for you to get back up just so it can kick you in the stomach. But getting the wind knocked out of you is the only way to remind your lungs how much they like the taste of air.
If we want to give all of our children a foundation for their dreams and opportunities worthy of their promise. If we want to give them that sense of limitless possibility, that belief that here in America, there is always something better out there if you're willing to work for it.
Welcome back. D2 Women's Rugby Semifinals on the line here as it's the St. Louis Sabres on top of South Buffalo right now. A great first half of action, and Angela, a great end to that first half as South Buffalo went 80 meters in the last couple of minutes to get their second try.
Yeah, and they really worked all the way out with no kicks, just grinding it all the way through. There was a great big break from Zoe Siciliano. We've said her name a lot. You'll probably hear it a lot more. That was the big line break they needed to set up their final try scorer. So going into the second half, they want to keep that momentum to try and tie it up with the Sabres. Both of these teams have a lot of experience. They want to play tomorrow, so a lot at stake going into the second half.
Strong one there as we see a couple of tries there from the Sabres. Great work on the outside. That's Raina Davis, the 22-year-old. Got into the action as well, but from there it was the response that they needed here for South Buffalo. Good little offload as Giles dots it down for the try, and a beautiful little bit of work on the back end. Lopez with the assist, gets it to Mandy Smith. And the final try here, Angela, a huge response, exactly what they needed. And I do think that they've got what it takes, South Buffalo, to still get into this match and possibly take the lead here soon.
Oh yeah, they definitely have all the tools. They need to put all of their pieces together. Penalties have really plagued them on both sides of the ball. So either they're turning it over or they're giving away 3 meters to St. Louis. So they need to protect the ball. They need to clean it up a little bit. And in the second half, we'll see as their fitness will definitely come into play, and then their subs. So as you start seeing more and more subs off the bench, bringing in fresh legs, but you don't want that performance to drop and then create weaknesses in, any chinks in your chain. And that's what you need, a full bench to survive a tough playoff weekend like this. So we'll see who can tough it out for the last 40 minutes.
7-point match here, everything to play for. As we take a look at the other field, again, we do have Milwaukee Silla taking on Salt Lake City, and the Slugs just have not been able to hang on. They are down 41-10 in that match. So it does look like Milwaukee might be able to punch their ticket here in the next 10 to 15 minutes or so. One of these two looking to respond and do the same. South Buffalo in the green to start this one off with the kick. Scooped up out there on the outside for St. Louis. That's Laura Matthews. Had a strong first half. Did the lock. Scramble for it there, but just a little too aggressive where South Buffalo got to release, at least at some point, show the referee your hands before you go in and try and take that one out of there.
Yeah, not how we want to start off the second half for South Buffalo, giving away those meters and possessions, letting St. Louis set up a line out. Lineouts create a lot of space on the field, so if you're tuning in, welcome. This is the second half. You may be watching your friend and you're like, what's about to happen? So this is just a way to restart the game with a lineout, so it's very similar to soccer or basketball, anything like that. It's just a throw-in. The only difference is we pick our people up in the air, because if your feet are off the ground, you can't get tackled. Nice, clean line-out throw by St. Louis, and they're moving it fast to space on the edge.
A little bit there. Jessie Wilcox takes it into contact as the winger. She had a couple of tries in their last match, but here's the real force. Mandy Smith leads the team in tries and showing us why right there. Great burst through. A little bit of space here on the near side. Strong defense, though. That's Halliday getting involved, slamming that door shut. Now they'll spin it right-hand side into the hands of Seich, the 29-year-old out of Iowa. Takes it forward, but loses it. Did not release in time, and unfortunately the Sabres just couldn't get there to secure possession.
That has been a huge tactic for Buffalo, South Buffalo, all day. Going for that steal on the breakdown, going with that jackal. They're drawing a lot of not releasing penalties. That wasn't able to find touch for them, but that is what they were going for after that penalty.
Off the kick, Wilcox had it, but now it's ripped out of there. Struggle forward in the center of the pitch, but again, it's Mandy Smith, the St. Louis, Missouri native, continues the charge here for the Sabres. Into a hard-charging Donahue. 36-year-old gets them closer to that 22-meter line as they continue to surge. Now they'll try to spin it off to the right-hand side, through the hands. Matthews keeps things going. Able to find a little bit of space out there for Wilcox.
New tackle, release green. Release green.
As they continue to push.
Number 4.
See the pod here, center of the screen, starts to set up. They'll spin around the right-hand side. Mary Smith looking to find him napping out there. But a strong challenge there from South Buffalo, but a quick pick opens things up. Savannah Archibald is over the try line, but she cannot get it down. It's held up. Referee Winkler is going to sprint back to this one as advantage was on. The penalty is going to be here. Quick tap coming for the Sabres. They look to surge forward. Big time contact from Morton. Struggles trying to get in. Knees hit the deck, so they have to release. They'll spin this one. No, it's going to keep it in nice and tight. Able to secure possession, a little bit in from the side, but the Sabres are able to rip it out of there before too much danger involved. Now, again, it's Mandy Smith. She lowers the boom. Knight have lost it, but no, referee Winkler says the try is good, and the Sabres strike first in the second half.
Yeah, what an absolute battle for those 5 meters. South Buffalo putting up a ton of physicality, starting with the held-up try, but the Sabres just weren't going to be denied these points. They really needed them to strengthen their lead, and the grounding with control is hard to determine, but luckily for the Sabres, we have a confirmed try, so that's going to be 5 more for them as South Buffalo is looking to regroup in the try zone as we set up our conversion from Caroline Bassler.
Great work again from our referee, Phil Winkler, who was right on the spot, had perfect view of the try. Seen some strong kicks from Bassler, but this one just off the right-hand side, no good, but they have doubled up South Buffalo now. The 12-point lead 5 minutes into this second half. And really, Angela, that was a terrific response. If you're the Sabres, they'd cut the lead back, did South Buffalo, but just a tremendous response, showing that toughness and tenacity that got them this far.
Yeah, that was huge. Definitely. Now, we have a 12-point lead. That's 2 scores at least, and it's been really hard for South Buffalo to put those tries together in a timely fashion. So they're really going to have to lock in a bit here and take their possession seriously and really try to put some points on the board a lot quicker than they did in the first half.
Kick hits the deck a couple of times, but the Sabres are able to secure possession. Another pod out here on the side. Almost lost it, and eventually, yes, great work there from South Buffalo to get their mitts on it. That's Alicia Giles with the turnover. Great work turning offense into defense. Now they'll look to find some space out on the left-hand side. Sabres more than ready to come up and meet them with the contact, and they did so a little high, so advantage being played. This is just what South Buffalo needed. Couple of beautiful offloads, keep things moving. They're just able to secure possession. Good work from that forward pack getting involved and getting there just in time. Here comes Giles again. Rumbles through a couple of would-be tacklers. Now finally stood up, 7 meters out. Sabres are there, and finally that ball comes back to the ladies in green. Off to the right-hand side we come, through the hands, out there to the fullback, Bobek. She gets stifled in the center of the pitch. They continue to try to find some space here on the far side. Around the corner they come, and in try number 2 for Sierra Persad. The 21-year-old brings South Buffalo right back.
Yeah, I don't know how they heard me from here, but that is exactly what they needed. Another quick 5 to keep them contesting and running through. Some great forward play. One little quick pop, but all crucial. Lots of discipline from the back line to keep their width. It's really easy to get sucked in, especially when you're this close to the try line, but you've got your speedsters on the outside. She's able to fend off her defender, just push her out to be able to dot it down in the corner again. Great work by Sierra Prasad.
20 seconds.
We're going to be setting up for the conversion here for Anna Petliangas, product of Gannon University.
Great try. We saw them make a kick. Actually, it was the Sabres with the kick from near this same spot earlier. Not an easy one there for the scrum half. Gets this one up. Not enough in the distance there. But a 7-point lead now. Great work on the double for the day there from that lady, Sierra Persad. Again, plays with the National Guyana Sevens team and bringing that Sevens action out here to the 15 side. Seems to be cramping up a little bit as we get into the heat of the day here in Chicago. Just deciding back and forth whether she's got enough in the tank, but showing off the tenacity here with everything on the line, Angela.
Yeah, it's really crucial to be taking care of your body. That's the kind of things that get you through these long weekends. So hopefully Prasad is able to keep that stretched out and get some Gatorade here quickly as we score, because South Buffalo is going to need her to continue to be successful against the Sabres defense.
So that is another strong take. That was Morton again, who was able to rip that one out of there, or lost that one, and now it's back with the Sabres.
Good.
Again, a nice, perfect rugby weather out here in the 50s here today, but a little bit breezy as you'd expect here in Illinois. An opportunity now for South Buffalo right at home with it. There, it's a 7-point deficit, and they have proven that they've got the skill to be able to take this one. But right now, it is a tremendous struggle for possession. Another strong drive through for the Sabres, left that one available, and they're able to scoop it up. St. Louis, 7-point lead, 30 minutes left to play. Everything on the line. Again, the winner will more than likely play Milwaukee, as the Scylla will look dominant on the other pitch. Spinning through the hands. Nice work through Matthews. All the way to the outside. Raina Davis couldn't find a gap there, and it's turned over. South Buffalo back in with it. They've got advantage here after the Sabre knock on. But nice little work to be able to find Hicks. Maybe some numbers here near side.
Advantage over!
Just got word, 52-12. It's the Scylla on top. Backwards, says the referee, as they get a little bit lucky with the call there to South Buffalo. They're still trying to keep things moving. Space here on the near side. They're able to pop it off and keep it moving. Slow it down a little. Great tackling on the opposite side there continues here for the 2018 national champs, the St. Louis Sabres. And finally, they get this one back as they coughed it up, did South Buffalo. Back on the attack, Sabres with it. Through the defense comes Mandy Smith. One final player to beat the fullback, does a great job to take her down. Strong tackle there from Bobek, but the Sabres continue to charge. For space on the near side. Through the hands they come. Munoz Ruiz dishes it off to the wing, and around the corner they come. Jesse Wilcox is going to bring it home, and the Sabres respond again, Angela, and extend their lead back up to 12.
Great response, great poise from St. Louis here. They didn't get rattled off of a returning possession from the last try. Let's go back and take a look, see at how we did it. Whole team try, you're starting on the right side of the field, and very cleanly, being able to break the game line allows them to not have so much defense interaction at the tackle contest. South Buffalo's been in their face and disrupting, but you saw on that penalty, or on that last tackle, South Buffalo wasn't able to get in there and slow them down with a really clean reset, able to move that ball really quickly out wide, ending with a try to Jesse Wilcox. And we're going to set up Caroline Bassler again right here on the 15 hash to see if she can get 2 more.
Bassler strikes that one through and perfectly true. Another 2 points up on the board for the Sabres as they extend this one to a 14-point lead. And just want to give a final shout out here, number 25, Marissa Munoz-Ruiz with this pass right there.
Yeah, that's a great skip, great recognition. She could have gone the one inside, but there was no space if she would have given that ball to Natalie Morton. That would have been a contact thing, and both of them would have had to be sucked in to support that ball. Nice little skip pass. That allows Wilcox to come in and use that space on the edge with more time right around South Buffalo's defense.
So another try on the board for the Sabres. Wilcox gets in again, the Indianapolis native, her 5th season with the club, as they send this one deeper this time. It's scooped up and charged right back again. Sabres coughed it up though.
Pulled by Green.
Never went forward though, says our referee. And now at this point, 13 minutes into the second half, we'll see if the Sabres decide to slow this one down a little bit, but they continue to look to push things. Great work here on the near side of the pitch, as they almost are able to push their way up over the midfield stripe. I love the looping strategy, coming back and trying to take things on the weak side. Savannah Archibald rumbles forward, now more space. Here comes Munoz-Ruiz with another pass, finds Wilcox on the outside, and they're not gonna catch her. Back-to-back tries for Jesse Wilcox, and the Sabres look to put this one to bed. Their second try in a row there for Wilcox.
Absolutely great distribution all game from the captain, Marissa Munoz-Ruiz, wearing number 25. They have speed on both sides. They have a lot of speed in their back three, and that's showing off here. You can see how they got here, being able to spread the defense out really wide. And like I said, as you start getting deep into the second half, you're pushing teams for their fitness, you're pushing teams for the depth of their subs. So if you have a really quality back three and you're able to get them the ball, chances are there's going to be space in that outer 10 to 5 meter channel. And the Sabres are getting the ball to space, and they are using that experience that they have to do so. We have Caroline Bassler setting up.
She takes this one just a little bit off the mark, but a strong second half for the Sabres as they put up 19 points over to South Buffalo's 5. And they've been able to really take a stranglehold of this match. As again, up by 19 here as we move forward, and that is the previous try score. That's Prasad. Has 2 on the day for South Buffalo, but that cramp continues to kind of mess with her. So we'll see if they can get that thing stretched out as we are about 16 minutes into this match. Referee Winkler comes over to check as well. Again, we'll take another look over at the other pitch. The Scylla should be victorious in this one as Milwaukee took down the Salt Lake Slugs. Both these teams scrambling to try and see if they can get back into the action. We actually did see the Scylla take on one of these squads. It was South Buffalo that got beat by Milwaukee 58-39. So we do have a big comeback on our hands here for South Buffalo. That'll be a nice little rematch there from the Midwest Championships a while back. So continue to try and get that left calf worked on. But I know you've been there as well, Angela. Sometimes once those things start going, it's difficult to kind of nip that one in the bud.
Yeah, there's a reason why I'm talking about the game and not playing the game right now. And
right there with you.
Yeah, and definitely how your body reacts to the contact and the toll that it takes is obvious. Sierra Prasad has done a lot for her team today. The cramp up is just unfortunate because you can play through the pain, but that also means you're not very effective. So you have to kind of go back and forth and say, she's still up, so she's playing through this pain, but is she going to be able to hit her full speed either as a defender or on attack given the chance? So she's biting her lip down now, but we'll see if she can maintain through the game.
It's a strong take that time. Raina Davis, who hasn't tried her name, and now another sprint through the defense comes from the Sabres. Able to secure possession nicely as well. That has been the key to their offensive strategy. Always multiple blue jerseys right around the ball, and now they'll spin it again. Munoz Ruiz gets it through all the way to Wilcox again. I believe one of those passes came up a little bit forward, and so we'll have South Buffalo ball in hand here. Really haven't had a whole lot of stoppages other than the tries here in the second half. An exciting one here live from the Chicago Blaze Complex in Lamont, Illinois. Tim Wilkes and Angela Smarto taking you through all of the action. And we'll take a second look here, Angela.
They are playing really flat, so it's really easy to just get ahead of that ball, and that's what happened there. You're trying to save your steps, and if you're playing a flat attack, that can open up a ton of space, but you do run that risk of throwing a forward pass if you wait just a second too late.
On the outside, it's Eleanor Hale. It gets wrangled to the deck, but they've earned themselves a penalty. Not releasing or getting out of there quick enough were the Sabres, and so we'll slow this one down a little bit for South Buffalo. Just need to regroup. Still 23 minutes left on the clock. Plenty of time for them to get a few more tries as they'll just try to surge forward and push through. Great team effort that time. Into the collision they go, and back through here on the near side. That one did go forwards, and the Sabres coughed it up as well, so no advantage gained. It'll be a scrum here to St. Louis.
Yeah, that's unlucky. So you have the vice captain, number 8 for South Buffalo, Tori Farina, had a huge monster run, just got 20-some meters for her club, and then immediately we have the knock, which is unfortunate. So ball back in hand of the Sabres, and they're a threat every time they get the ball. So if South Buffalo wants to start staging their comeback, which they are totally capable of doing, they need to hang on to the ball, and they have to find a way to get it back to them right now.
First time we've seen them down by 3 tries, but they've come back multiple times down by 2. And here's a little bit of space here for Raina Davis around the outside, but just caught there. Great work by the fullback to wrangle her to deck. Here comes Munoz Ruiz over the 22-meter line. Possession secured. Lopez flings it back out for another charge, but it's lost forward. South Buffalo there to collect and get on the front foot again. They'll try to bring it back to the center of the pitch. Good little pop. Gets things moving, but strong defense to come back and steal it out of the air from Shoemaker. We're going to replay the original knock on as no advantage gained, as now you can see some tired legs out there, but everything's still on the line here in the semifinal.
Yeah, they're tired, but nobody's given up yet. So this was a nice little play through from St. Louis. They were able to take advantage of the South Buffalo knock, but then they had a little unlucky snatch of their own. So we have a nice platform here from South Buffalo, and they preferred to run it out of their own end, which seems to be working better for them than the kick. So as long as they keep support to their runners, they can make some ground here.
Nice little fake. Fling out to the outside, but great work from Jesse Wilcox, who comes all the way in from that wing position to meet them behind the gain line. Finally wrestles him back to deck. Good run there, though, from Bobek. Now, space near side. Here's Persaud again, but this kick goes straight to hand for Raina Davis. The penalty's going to be given, so South Buffalo still pushing hard. They're able to pick this one up off the quick tap and charge here on the near side. Good job sucking in the defense. A little pop pass to the outside, finds Lanau. And they've earned themselves a penalty as well. Quick tap coming. South Buffalo still on the front foot. They've got to strike early and often here. They earn themselves. No, they've lost it, and a penalty's going to be given. And a card coming. It looked like, though, Angela, it was maybe the Sabres that got the penalty there, but too many penalties in a row, says Phil Winkler. And off the pitch for the next 10 minutes is Natalie Morton.
This is a huge thing coming. Let's see if we can see this penalty here. The Sabres have had a few in a row. And it's a little unclear to me what the call was for this yellow card. It might have had something to do with the tackle from behind, but now, so we're at minute 60. There's about 19 minutes left in the game. For the next 10 minutes, South Buffalo will have one more player on the field while the Sabres serve their yellow card. So this would be a great time for them to use that advantage, find some space, and try to put some points up on the board.
They'll look here to the near side. Wild dishes it off, keeps things moving over to Lanau, who fights for every inch out there and pushes her way into the 22-meter line. Now some space here. Good little pop pass, keeps things moving. Throwing tacklers to the deck. 2 meters away now. They almost got on top of it. Raina Davis did a great job near the goal line. Ladies in green still in possession here, but they've got to fight for it. They're able to dish it out of there. Over again. Looking for some space there to Lanau. Nothing to be had. 18 minutes left to play. Into contact we go. Bilic couldn't crack the code either. And eventually it's knocked on. What a defensive stand for the Sabres, who've been tremendous other than the one try here in the second half.
Yeah, unfortunate for South Buffalo. They're trying to punch it in, but St. Louis is there, and really at this part of the field, whoever's the lowest is always going to win that contact point. So if South Buffalo wants to punch it in with their forwards, they got to sink their knees and put their shoulders down, because the St. Louis defense was there and ready, and being able to put them back and push them back, applying that pressure to then give them this knock-on.
Yeah, so many times you just got to make sure you're winning that collision, as you mentioned, getting lower. I've been in that position, being over 6 feet myself, just getting chopped tackled. Got to make sure you're going into that contact. Good work here from the Sabres to pull it out of the back, and they'll kick this one into touch. But South Buffalo still an opportunity. Plenty of time. I mean, 17 minutes, it's still there for them if they can put something together quick.
Yeah, there's definitely opportunities here. You'll see this advantage. You know, they have a player advantage in here tight with the forwards. Somewhere there's a lot of space. So it didn't look pretty, but they got the ball out, and hopefully they can see some green now.
Through Persaud all the way out there to Bobek, but a great tackle on the outside. I think that was Davis that was able to come up and play havoc on that defensive end. Again, the pass a little bit behind. But South Buffalo secures possession. They need to cash in quickly here with the player advantage. Space on the outside here to the right. Good little dish, finds Lanau again. Here comes Amanda Lanau around the corner, and South Buffalo get it done. Try number 2 in the second half.
That is the 5 points they needed, not only to the score, but they've been working really hard, and they keep getting really close and kick back. So you can see them smiling. We've got a little bit of a confidence boost, and they still have 8 more minutes of this yellow card to try and get some more points on the board.
There it is, Amanda Lanau around the corner on the outside, her 8th year with the club, out of Lindenwood University, a rugby powerhouse in their own right. Great work. as we see again. She's really come in and been a huge factor here in the second half, time and time again, Angela. She has too much speed to be reckoned with on the outside.
Yeah, not only speed, but, great little step there. She was able to duck in just one step, put her defender on the outside hip, and then that was able to give her space with no contact to be able to get around the corner.
Kick coming here from Anna Pitliangas. Off to the right-hand side, no good, but that is what South Buffalo needed. The 5 points up on the board, back to a 14-point match with 15 minutes left to play, and they still have a good 6 minutes left with that player advantage. The ladies from South Buffalo looking to make a statement here. Again, they were your D2 women's Northern Regionals champions last year. They're trying to replicate things, but boy, have the Sabres have come in and really played havoc with that plan. They've been outstanding here in the second half, and a lot of the conversions have really come through. Carolyn Bessler has been outstanding, the number 12, with those conversions. This one just over the 10-meter line. Great kick from Alex Shoemaker. The Fly have to get things moving, but they knocked it on, and so South Buffalo will have an opportunity here. Angela, you know a lot of these players. What is it going to take for them to really get back into this and make the push they need to try and get back and steal one away here from the Sabres?
They have a couple playmakers. Their flanker, Samantha Bellert, and number 12, Zoe Siciliano. They're the ones who are really pushing the pace for South Buffalo, and they've been able to make some bigger games. So if the two of them, like I just were talking about here, if they can make some space, everybody follows them with the speed.
Great work from Siciliano to get through the middle of the defense and spin it out to Sierra Persad. The hat trick, cramp and all, it doesn't matter. You see how much it means to her and the team. What fight and what great tenacity is being shown here by South Buffalo. They cut back into the lead again, another 5 under the post with the conversion pending.
Yeah, so like we were saying, we have our play breakers here. Zoe Siciliano takes it, finds the big gap. As she opens out, she draws in this fullback, and that opens up the door for Prasad to take it in and turn on the jets to get 5 more. And as soon as she dots it down, she remembers that her leg hurts, and you'll see her walking it off as she leaves. But while she has the ball in hand, you couldn't tell. So here's a little bit of a wider angle. You can really see how much space she's playing with. So that's a great IQ move to not make contact with that fullback. Make her stop fully to see what she's going to do before she disses to Prasad. So everybody gets a nice, clean, easy run all the way to the try zone.
Zoe Siciliano, her first year with the club, right there with her rookie teammate, Sierra Persad, her first year as well. And boy, have they made their presence felt in 2026, as it is now a 9-point lead. That conversion did not go through, and so we sit here, still a 2-possession game, but with 12 minutes, still anything possible for South Buffalo. So we wait for the ball. Just want to remind you, we still have one more match on the docket. Later today, we switch gears to the men's D2 semifinals. Southside Irish taking on the Gentlemen of Aspen here live in about 30 minutes on field 2. Another kick and another steal here for the Sabres. St. Louis with a great job in the last 2 restarts. Lopez gets them going again off to Mandy Smith. Haven't called Smith as much here in the second half, but she is for sure one of the better players out there. This one's going to go all the way through the hands. Raina Davis couldn't hang on, finally scoops it up. Continues the charge for St. Louis. About 10 minutes left to play. Nice little dummy that time. Smart from Shoemaker, the 27-year-old. She takes it into contact and keeps the drive alive. Strong work. That's going to be Waldron. Abby Waldron breaks the gain line. There's that inside ball that worked to perfection with the try to Savannah Archibald this time. She smashes through another 10 meters. Now they'll look to spin it. Munoz. Ruiz with it. She'll just take this one into contact. She's really been a tremendous spark plug, has the captain, but she hangs on too long. Great work from the ladies in green. They steal possession back.
Yeah, this is great for South Buffalo. They have about a minute or so left on this yellow card. So if they want to really stay in this game for the last 10 minutes, if they can make something happen here, that would really start to ramp up the momentum as they get towards the end of the game.
Double check with the sidelines, with the referees. The score on your screen is now correct. 34-29. It's only a 5-point match as the Sabres just looking to hang on. Still, ball in hand for South Buffalo, down by 5. Under 10 minutes left to play now. Continue to surge on the left-hand side. There's the kick up over the top from Persaud. She's still got plenty of gas left in the tank. Chased down from behind, kicks it through. We're still on. There's the scoop and the try. South Buffalo, third in a row to tie it up.
What an unbelievable momentum shift that we've had from this yellow card. South Buffalo knew the opportunity in front of them and really took advantage. This is their third try they've scored in 10 minutes. And Sarah Prasad has been involved in just about all of them. So it looks like the yellow card is over. As we can see,
30 seconds on the kick, Green.
Natalie Morton coming back onto the pitch, but great chip over. And she's going to go for the chase of her own kick. She's unable to finish as she gets caught up. But we have Anna Pitliangas, we've said her name a ton, the captain, the scrum half, in her support line. She is able to get 5 points to her name today as well.
Oh boy, just tremendous effort again on the outside from Sierra Persaud. Booted that one through, and the finance major didn't get to throw another tally up there. But, finance analyst could not take it the distance, but she did such a good job with the speed, got in front of the would-be tackler, able to nudge that one forward a little bit further and keep the charge alive. And it is a 34-34 match. Under 10 minutes left to go. We'll look to the referee's whistle from Phil Winkler to make sure this time again, trying to just kick one close. Finally, after the third time now, South Buffalo's able to scoop this one up. And they were in from the side where the Sabres, pulling that one out of there. So a slow down here, and finally a deep breath as Pitlianga takes this one, an opportunity for South Buffalo to take the lead, and that might be what they needed. Beautiful little space there. Here comes Anna again. Gets hit center of the pitch, and they're able to retain possession 25 meters away for South Buffalo to take the lead here in this D2 semifinal. Northern Super Regional collision will happen tomorrow. One of these two teams taking on the Milwaukee Scylla tomorrow afternoon. Everything to fight for. Sabres repel them once again. South Buffalo look to charge off to the right-hand side, but a great defensive stand. Good work coming up by Abigail Waldron. Now, again, off to the right-hand side. There's the previous try scorer, Lanau. She gets stifled, slowed down and slung to deck. Reset. Here off to Vidakovic.
No hands, one.
Vidakovic couldn't find much, and now they'll spin it again, but still, the ball retention for South Buffalo has been outstanding here the last 10 minutes. They've barely given the Sabres a sniff of it. And another strong run up over the 22-meter line. Good job securing possession again. Every single phase so important from here on out. Another strong tackle from Abby Waldron. She continues to make her presence felt here in the second half. 5 to go now. Big bump coming through. Great run from Emily Riccardi. South Buffalo inside the 22, looking for their 4th try in a row. Little discombobulated on the outside. Good job to stay in and not obstruct. A little bit of space out there, but the Sabres hold strong. Again, looking for one final try to take the lead. Big time hit from Savannah Archibald. Jars this one loose, and it's scooped up. Sabres with the possession, but it is going to be, I believe, a penalty against them. High tackle in the process, Angela.
Yeah,
Coach is good, number 1.
the Sabres right now are in full desperation mode as they've seen their lead over the last 15 minutes just shrink and shrink and shrink. So South Buffalo is hitting their stride, and they're on full-fledged attack, and the Sabres are doing anything they can to stop their momentum and do anything to get the ball back and try to reclaim the lead.
Get it out to Halliday. Halliday with the dish to Ciliano. Trying to Sonny Bill Williams flip this one out to the right-hand side. She gets held up, but now the Chargers on again. Around the corner, here comes Amanda Linnau, already with one. Linnau, try number 2, gets it in and take the lead. 4 tries in a row for South Buffalo.
I did mention that the comeback earlier was not impossible for South Buffalo. This is a team with lots of experience, and they're highly, highly motivated. Again, we're seeing everybody on this team touch the ball, but every time we get to those playmakers' hands, it's always creating something. So Zoe Ciliano has a couple defenders, has to suck them in just to take her down, and that leaves enough space on the wing to let wings do their thing. And you got Linnau dotting it down in the corner for the 2nd time today off the bench.
Great work from Linnau, the physical therapist you see here, getting her team into fantastic shape. They're up by 5 with about 5 left to play. That one's not gonna make it through. But boy, the comeback is on.
4.5.
4 unanswered tries. I mean, we were sitting there counting, trying to see how many. I mean, it was over a 12-point lead in the second half for the Sabres. 3-1 on tries, but 4 unanswered have turned this match into one for the ages. A great comeback for South Buffalo, and now the pressure is on St. Louis. They haven't scored in over 15 minutes of action. Can they recharge the engines just enough? They've got them pinned inside the 22. But boy, line break after line break here in the last 15 minutes for South Buffalo. Dummy there. Real impressed with the way that they've been able to secure possession, and again, forcing the Sabres to do something illegal to take it away. Quick tap to Ciliano. Just going to take this one in. Left a little bit bare out there, but they're able to secure possession. Again, a scramble for it. Looks like the Sabres are over the top of it. We're going to come back to the high tackle. The Sabres giving everything they can at this one, Angela, but the bounces are going South Buffalo's way right now.
Yeah, they can see this slipping through their fingers, and again, when you start to feel like that pressure and your back's against the wall, that's when you lose your discipline. So we're seeing high tackles, hands in from the side, lots and lots of penalties because they want this ball back and they want to play tomorrow, but they only have 3 minutes to not only tie, but take the lead away from South Buffalo, who has dominated the second half.
Matthews, another strong tackle there for the Sabres, but a huge charging run. Another big hit. That time it was Arsenault coming through with the boom. Here comes South Buffalo again, up by 5. Just need to secure position. Great strong tackle there in the back by Alex Shoemaker. South Buffalo, no hurry whatsoever. Just got to make sure they keep the green jerseys around the ball, securing possession time and time again, something they've done so well. And then they spin it out to Linnau. There's the speed around the corner, 50 meters to go. Amanda gets held up, a little bit stranded, a scramble for it, but hands in the ruck they call. That was Abby Waldron, gets dinged for hands in, and right on the front foot comes Siciliano again, looking to make him pay. 25 meters out, under 2 minutes left to play. South Buffalo, the comeback. Could it be for real now? They're up by 5. They were down by 17 points. It looked like it wasn't going to happen until they cranked the gears back up. Still plenty to play for now. They can't lose it. They've got to secure possession, but that has been their strong suit lately. Continue to drive forward. Sabres almost got their hands on it, but they secure possession again. Vidakovic throws a couple to the deck. Taken down by Munoz Ruiz, but there's space here on the near side again. Siciliano all the way through the hands. Linau gets turned back in. Dishes it off back to Siciliano. Big shove and big time try for South Buffalo. Number 5 in a row, and that should do it. The comeback secured.
There is absolutely no quit in the herd from South Buffalo, New York. They've been taking this ball, capitalizing on a lot of St. Louis penalties. Great distribution of the ball. Siciliano was able to get it out to Linau, but stayed in a support line, was able to get it back to her and jotting down a try. Likely the final try of the game as we're approaching time, but again, the time on the scoreboard is not the official time. So the South Buffalo team now should be extremely proud of the determination that they have had during this game, who trailed the entire game through 50 to 60 minutes. And then when they had their opportunity with the yellow card, was able to build some momentum and then reclaim and take this lead and bring it home.
Holiday with the kick. Off the mark, but now we're getting close to the final whistle. No, there it is. South Buffalo have done it. They were down 19 points here in the second half. 5 unanswered tries brought them to glory. They are your second D2 semifinalist. They are in the championship, which will be held tomorrow. They'll take on the Milwaukee Scylla. Wow, what an incredible comeback. Angela, a tremendous performance. I mean, words can't be. We thought they were down and out so many times in the second half, but what an inspirational performance for South Buffalo.
Yeah, you watching at home, you might have lost some faith in South Buffalo, but they never lost faith in themselves. They want to go back to nationals, and the only way to do that is by winning today. And they showed that they came here and they mean business. Just an absolute tremendous performance. They didn't even have a full bench of substitutes and didn't even use them all. Everybody had to play huge. You have try scorers all over the place. Huge contributors from both of their Canadians, Sierra Posad and Zoe Siciliano. Tons of great forward play. Captain, Anna Petliangas. Just an absolute huge performance to take over that game. Because the first half was all St. Louis, and then the last 40 minutes, the herd just came in a total stampede and said, we're going to play tomorrow.
Great work there for South Buffalo as the herd move on, and they will play the Milwaukee Scylla, a rematch from the Midwest Championships. It was Milwaukee with the 58-39 win, and see if they can replicate that again. But what a tremendous performance for South Buffalo. A great effort, 5 tries to finish it off and get the victory. So we will step aside. We've still got one match coming your way here live on Field 2. It's Southside Irish taking on the Gentlemen of Aspen. When we return, we thank you so much for being out here at the Chicago Blaze facilities. More great rugby action to be had when we return. We'll step aside when we come back. D2 Men's on the way next.